Have you ever noticed that as people age, they develop habits that push others away, but no one warns them about it? It's not just about wrinkles or slowing down. Some habits can make aging lonelier, harder, and even more frustrating. The worst part? Most seniors don't even realize they're doing them. From small everyday actions to deeply ingrained behaviors, these habits can silently damage relationships and quality of life. But here's the good news. Once you recognize them, you can change them. Julie, a 71-year-old retired librarian, was once the heart of her community. She loved chatting with neighbors, catching up with old friends, and being the go-to person for book recommendations. But over time, something changed. People started visiting less, her phone rang less often, invitations to family gatherings became rare. At first, she blamed it on others. Maybe they were just too busy. But deep down, she wondered, had she done something to push them away? Julie didn't mean to isolate herself, but small habits added up over time. She started complaining more about aches, the state of the world, how things were better back in the day. She stopped making an effort with her appearance, thinking, who do I need to impress? Conversations became one-sided and she found herself talking more than listening. She dismissed new technology, resisted change, and even turned down help when she needed it. Little by little, these behaviors created distance between her and the people she loved. Julie's story isn't unique. In fact, many seniors unknowingly fall into the same patterns, habits that slowly make aging lonelier, harder and more frustrating. But the good news, it's never too late to change. Recognizing these behaviors is the first step to maintaining strong relationships, staying socially connected and living a more fulfilling life. So let's uncover these ugly things that no one talks about, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Because number 7 is the one that surprises everyone. And by the time most people realize it, it's already too late. Before we dive in, if you find value in this video, take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more life-changing advice to people just like you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Becoming too negative or critical. Julie never thought of herself as a negative person. She was just being honest. But as the years went by, she found herself complaining more often. She'd wake up with an ache in her knee and grumble about getting old. She'd turn on the news and sigh, frustrated with the state of the world. When talking to younger relatives, she'd roll her eyes at their choices and say, "Back in my day, we had more respect." At first, she didn't notice the shift. But slowly, conversations became shorter. Friends started avoiding deep talks with her, steering clear of topics they knew would trigger complaints. Even her grandkids, who once loved spending time with her, started making excuses not to visit. What Julie didn't realize was that negativity, no matter how justified, drains people. No one wants to leave a conversation feeling worse than when they started. The truth is, it's easy to slip into a cycle of criticism. The world changes fast, and not always in ways that feel comfortable. Bodies don't work like they used to. Things that were once simple, like shopping, driving, or using a smartphone, can become frustrating. It's natural to vent. But when negativity becomes the default, it pushes people away. So how do you turn this around? Start conversations with something positive. Instead of leading with complaints, begin with gratitude. I woke up feeling good today. The sunset was beautiful last night. I just read an interesting article. Positive energy is contagious, and people are drawn to those who lift them up. Set a complaint limit. Give yourself 2 minutes to express frustration. Then move on to something constructive. Practice curiosity instead of criticism. Instead of dismissing new trends or ideas, ask questions. If your grandchild is obsessed with a new app or game, say, "Tell me more about that." Showing interest builds bridges, while constant criticism builds walls. Julie didn't realize how much her negativity affected her relationships until she made an effort to change. When she started leading conversations with positivity, people responded differently. They stayed longer, they opened up, and slowly she felt the warmth of connection return. Think about your own conversations. Are they pulling people in or pushing them away? Let us know in the comments. What's one habit you've changed that helped improve your relationships? Number 2, ignoring personal hygiene and appearance. Julie used to love getting dressed up. She had a closet full of colourful blouses, a signature scent she never left the house without, and a habit of styling her hair just right before heading out. But as she got older, that changed. At first it was little things. She stopped wearing makeup, skipped hair appointments, and opted for baggy clothes because they were more comfortable. Then she started thinking, why bother? She wasn't trying to impress anyone anymore. Days passed without her changing out of her house clothes, and she rarely looked in the mirror. She convinced herself it didn't matter, but deep down, something felt different. She noticed it in the way people treated her. Strangers who once complimented her cheerful outfits now barely made eye contact. Friends stopped inviting her out as often, and when she looked at old pictures, she barely recognized the vibrant woman she used to be. What Julie didn't realize was that how you present yourself affects how others see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Taking pride in your appearance isn't about vanity. It's about self-respect, confidence, and staying engaged with the world. How to turn this around? Get dressed every day, even if you're not going anywhere. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just clean, well-fitting clothes that make you feel good. Wearing something you love can instantly lift your mood. Maintain your hygiene routine. Shower regularly, keep your nails trimmed, and don't skip small grooming habits like brushing your hair or moisturizing your skin. These simple acts tell your brain, I matter. Wear colors that make you feel lively. Bright colors or well-coordinated outfits can boost your mood and make you feel more put together. Accessorize with something meaningful. A favorite watch, a nice pair of earrings, or even a spritz of perfume can bring back a sense of joy and identity. When Julie started making small efforts, brushing her hair, wearing her favorite blouse and putting on a little lipstick, she noticed an immediate difference. When she walked into a room, people smiled at her again. She felt lighter, more confident, and most importantly, like herself again. Your appearance is a reflection of how you feel inside. When you take care of yourself, you show the world and yourself that you're still very much alive and engaged. What's one small thing you do to feel your best every day? Share in the comments. We'd love to hear your tips. Number 3, becoming stubborn and resistant to change. Julie had always been set in her ways. She liked her routines, stuck to what she knew, and believed that if something had worked for decades, there was no need to change it. So when her kids and grandkids started communicating through text messages instead of phone calls, she resisted. I don't need to learn all that, she'd say, waving off their offers to teach her. If they want to talk to me, they can call. But the calls became less frequent. Family members were still sharing updates, but in group chats she refused to join. They sent pictures, funny videos, and birthday reminders, things she never saw. When she finally realized she was missing out, it wasn't just about technology. It was about staying connected to the people she loved. The truth is, stubbornness can lead to isolation. It's easy to believe that change isn't necessary, especially after living a certain way for decades. But refusing to adapt, whether it's learning a new skill, trying a new way of doing things, or embracing modern conveniences, can quietly push people away. How to stay open to change. Say I'll try instead of I don't need that. The willingness to try keeps you engaged and mentally sharp. Instead of shutting something down immediately, give it a chance. Ask for help and make it a bonding experience. Instead of resisting, let your grandkids or children teach you something new. Learning together creates meaningful moments. Embrace small changes first. You don't need to become a tech expert overnight, but small adjustments, like sending a simple text, trying a new hobby, or watching a show your grandkids love, help you stay connected to the world around you. When Julie finally let her granddaughter teach her how to text, she was surprised by how easy it was. More importantly, she saw what she had been missing. Daily photos of her great-grandkids, inside jokes and quick check-ins that made her feel loved. By letting go of resistance, she regained something far more valuable, a stronger connection with the people she cared about most. What's something new you've learned recently that helped you stay connected? Share in the comments. We'd love to hear your experiences. Number 4, hoarding and refusing to let go of clutter. Julie had always been sentimental. Every item in her home had a story. Old birthday cards from decades ago, stacks of newspapers she meant to read, clothes she hadn't worn in years but kept just in case. Over time, her once cosy home became overwhelming, filled with things she rarely used but couldn't bear to throw away. At first, she didn't see a problem. Everything here has value, she'd say. I might need it someday, but her cluttered home made it harder to clean, navigate, and even invite guests over. When her daughter gently suggested getting rid of a few things, Julie resisted. What if I need them later? The truth is, clutter doesn't just fill up your home, it can fill your mind with stress and make life harder than it needs to be. Holding on to too much can create a sense of being stuck in the past instead of enjoying the present. How to break free from clutter? Start small, one drawer, one box, one shelf at a time. Trying to declutter everything at once can feel overwhelming, but taking small steps makes it manageable. Ask yourself, do I use this? Does it bring me joy? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Donate, recycle, or pass meaningful items to family members who will cherish them. Turn decluttering into a habit. Set a goal to get rid of one item each day. Over time, this simple habit can lead to a noticeable transformation. Think about safety and ease. Cluttered spaces increase the risk of falls and accidents. A tidy home isn't just about appearance, it's about creating a safer and more peaceful environment. When Julie finally decided to start decluttering, she was amazed at how much lighter she felt. She donated clothes she hadn't worn in years, recycled old magazines, and organized her space to make it easier to find the things that truly matter. And for the first time in years, she felt comfortable inviting friends over again. Letting go of clutter isn't about losing things, it's about making room for a better, simpler, and more peaceful life. What's one thing you've decluttered that made a big difference in your life? Share in the comments. We'd love to hear your journey.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Number 5. Losing patience with others too quickly. Julie never considered herself an impatient person until little things started getting under her skin. One afternoon at the grocery store, she stood in line, waiting for the young cashier to finish bagging her groceries. He was slow, fumbling with the bags, and Julie felt frustration bubbling up inside her. "Can't you move a little faster?" she muttered, shaking her head. The moment she said it, the cashier looked down, embarrassed. That's when Julie noticed his hands trembling slightly. He was new, nervous, and just trying his best. It hit her. Was she becoming the very person she used to dislike? Quick to snap, slow to show grace? As we get older, it's easy to lose patience with others, especially when things don't go as fast as we'd like. But frustration doesn't just make life harder for those around us, it raises our own stress levels too. How to stay patient and kind. Pause before reacting. When you feel irritation creeping in, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this really worth getting upset over? Shift your perspective. The slow driver might be someone's grandfather. The distracted cashier could be a struggling student. A little patience can turn frustration into understanding. Use small moments as reminders to practice kindness. Instead of snapping, offer a smile or words of encouragement. A simple, take your time can make someone's day. Remember, life is easier when you let go of small annoyances. Choosing patience over frustration leads to less stress and better interactions with others. Julie made a conscious effort to slow down. The next time she was at the store, she smiled at the same young cashier and said, "You're doing a great job." His face lit up, and in that moment she realized a little kindness goes a long way. Have you ever caught yourself losing patience too quickly? How do you handle frustrating moments? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 6. Over-talking and not listening. Julie loved to talk. She had stories to share, advice to give, and memories to relive. But over time she noticed something. Her daughter was calling less often. When they did talk, the conversations felt rushed, like her daughter was eager to hang up. One day, Julie asked, "Is everything okay? You don't call as much anymore." Her daughter hesitated before answering. "Mum, I love talking to you, but sometimes I don't feel heard. It's like our calls are all about you, and I never get to share what's on my mind." Julie was shocked. She hadn't realized how often she dominated their conversations, jumping in with her own experiences, offering advice before her daughter finished a sentence, or steering the topic back to herself. As we age, it's easy to fall into this trap. We want to share our wisdom, but if we don't listen, our loved ones may start pulling away. How to have better conversations, balance talking and listening. If you've been speaking for a while, pause and ask, "What about you? How have things been for you?" Resist the urge to interrupt. Even if you have a great story to share, let the other person finish before jumping in. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of just saying, "How are you?" try, "What's something exciting that happened this week?" This invites real conversation. Be present. Put down the phone, focus on the other person, and truly hear what they're saying. Julie made an effort to change. The next time her daughter called, she listened, really listened. She asked more questions, let her daughter vent, and only offered advice when asked. And something wonderful happened. Their calls became longer, warmer, and more meaningful. The best conversations aren't about talking more, they're about listening better. Have you ever felt unheard in a conversation? Or realized you were doing all the talking? Let's discuss in the comments. Number 7, pushing people away instead of asking for help. Julie prided herself on being independent. She had spent decades taking care of others, raising her children, managing a household, and even helping neighbors when they needed a hand. But as the years passed, simple tasks became harder. One afternoon, she struggled to lift a heavy grocery bag from her car. A kind young man passing by noticed and offered, "Need a hand with that?" Julie forced a smile and shook her head. "No, thank you, I've got it." But she didn't. As she dragged the bag inside, her back ached and frustration welled up inside her. She felt exhausted, not just from the physical strain, but from the loneliness that followed. She had pushed someone away who was simply trying to help. Later that night, she realized something painful. Her refusal to accept help wasn't making her stronger, it was making her more isolated. Why asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Asking for help doesn't mean you're a burden, it means you're allowing others to care. People want to help, but if you keep refusing, they'll stop offering. Accepting help fosters connection. When you let someone assist you, it creates a moment of warmth and shared humanity. It makes life easier, not just physically, but emotionally. You don't have to struggle alone. It allows others to feel useful. Imagine if no one ever needed your help. You'd feel unneeded, right? Giving others the opportunity to help is a gift. How to change the habit. Next time someone offers help, practice saying, "Yes, that would be great, thank you." If you need support, ask directly. "Would you mind giving me a hand with this?" Remember, accepting kindness from others strengthens relationships, not weakens them. The next time Julie went to the store, she saw the same young man and smiled. "Actually," she said, "I could use a little help today." His face brightened as he grabbed her bag. And in that simple exchange, Julie felt something she hadn't in a while. Connected. Do you struggle with asking for help? Or have you ever felt the joy of helping someone else? Let's talk about it in the comments. Number 8, being too frugal to enjoy life. Julie had always been careful with money. She clipped coupons, skipped vacations, and hesitated before making any purchase that wasn't absolutely necessary. Even though she had a comfortable amount saved, she constantly worried, what if I need this money later? What if something unexpected happens? One day, her best friend Linda invited her on a weekend trip to the countryside. "It'll be fun, Julie. We'll explore, eat good food, and just relax." Julie's first instinct was to say no. Spending money on travel, on restaurants. She could think of a dozen reasons to decline. But deep down she wondered, when was the last time I actually treated myself? She had spent years saving for one day. But what if that one day never came? why enjoying your money matters. Being financially responsible is important, but life isn't just about saving, it's about living. Experiences bring more happiness than possessions. Studies show that spending on experiences like travel, outings or hobbies creates lasting joy, while material things quickly lose their value. You worked hard for this stage of life, enjoy it. Money is meant to support your happiness, not just sit in a bank. Security is important, but so is fulfillment. Finding a balance between saving and living is key. How to change the habit? Give yourself permission to spend on things that bring joy. Whether it's a nice dinner, a hobby or a short getaway, allow yourself those moments. Set aside a fun fund. Allocate a portion of your savings specifically for experiences and enjoyment. Ask yourself, if not now, when? Life doesn't wait. Julie finally said yes to that weekend trip. She laughed more in those 2 days than she had in months. And as she watched the sunset with her best friend, she realized this was what she had been saving for all along. What's one experience you've been putting off because of money? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 9, talking down to younger generations. Julie adored her grandson Ethan. She looked forward to his visits, but lately they felt shorter and more awkward. He used to tell her about school and his favorite video games, but now their conversations were strained. One day, Ethan mentioned a new app he was excited about. Julie sighed and shook her head. Back in my day, we didn't need all this technology. Kids actually played outside instead of staring at screens. Ethan went quiet. After a few minutes, he checked his phone and mumbled, "I should probably get going." As the door closed behind him, Julie felt a pang of regret. She didn't mean to push him away. She just wanted him to see how different things were when she was young. But had she made him feel dismissed instead? Why this pushes younger generations away? It's easy to compare the past to the present, but constantly telling younger people that things were better before can make them feel criticized rather than understood. It can make them feel like their experiences don't matter. Instead of bonding, it creates distance. Times change, and that's okay. Every generation faces different challenges and opportunities. Connection is built through encouragement, not criticism. Being open to their world helps strengthen the relationship. How to change the habit. Be curious, not dismissive. Instead of saying, "We never had that in my day," try, "That sounds interesting, tell me more." Find common ground. Share stories from your past in a way that relates to their experiences today. Encourage instead of criticize. Younger generations thrive on support. Your words can inspire rather than discourage. The next time Ethan visited, Julie tried a different approach. When he brought up his favorite game, she smiled and asked, "What do you like about it?" Ethan lit up, explaining the strategy behind it. For the first time in a while, their conversation flowed easily. And as he stayed a little longer that evening, Julie realized connecting across generations wasn't about changing them. It was about understanding them. Have you ever felt disconnected from younger generations? What helped bridge the gap? Let's discuss in the comments. Julie sat by the window, staring at the falling leaves. Another holiday season was approaching, but instead of feeling joy, she felt a familiar heaviness in her chest. She couldn't stop thinking about the friend who had betrayed her years ago, the argument with her sister that was never resolved, and the things she wished she had done differently in life. The past had a tight grip on her, replaying in her mind like an old film she couldn't turn off. One day, her neighbour, Linda, noticed Julie's distant look and asked, "What's on your mind?" Julie sighed, "I just keep thinking about things I can't change." Linda smiled gently. Holding on to the past is like carrying a heavy suitcase everywhere you go. Imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you set it down. Why holding on to grudges and regrets is harmful. It steals your present joy. Dwelling on old wounds makes it hard to enjoy the good moments happening right now. It strains relationships. Bitterness can create distance between you and loved ones, even when you don't realize it. It affects your health. Stress from grudges can increase blood pressure, disrupt sleep, and even weaken your immune system. How to let go and find emotional freedom. Accept that the past can't be changed. Instead of asking, why did this happen, try asking, what can I learn from it? Practice forgiveness, not for them, but for yourself. Letting go doesn't mean excusing bad behavior. It means freeing yourself from its hold. Focus on the present. When you catch yourself dwelling on the past, shift your attention to something positive in the moment. Write a letter, then let it go. If you're struggling to move on, write down everything you feel, then tear up the paper or burn it as a symbol of release. That night, Julie sat down with a piece of paper. She wrote down all the things she had been holding on to for years. Then, with a deep breath, she let them go. For the first time in a long while, she felt lighter. Have you ever let go of a past hurt? What helped you move forward? Share your thoughts in the comments. Julie had always been independent. So, when she started feeling dizzy while standing up or noticed her vision getting blurrier, she brushed it off. It's just part of getting older, she told herself. One morning, as she reached for a coffee mug in the kitchen, the dizziness hit her harder than usual. Before she could grab onto the counter, she lost her balance, falling hard onto the floor. The pain shot through her hip. Panic set in. She tried to move, but something wasn't right. Hours later, in the hospital, the doctor shook his head and said, "Julie, this could have been prevented if we had caught the issue earlier." Why ignoring health problems is dangerous. Small symptoms can signal bigger problems. Dizziness could mean dehydration or an early sign of a stroke. Fatigue could be normal aging or undiagnosed heart disease. Delaying checkups leads to worse outcomes. Many seniors ignore pain, shortness of breath, or sudden changes, only to discover later that early treatment could have made a difference. Prevention is easier than crisis management. A minor adjustment in diet, medication, or lifestyle could prevent major health scares. How to stay on top of your health. Listen to your body. Don't ignore symptoms just because they seem minor. If something feels off, it's worth checking out. Schedule regular checkups. Even if you feel fine, routine visits help catch hidden problems before they become serious. Don't downplay new symptoms. Sudden dizziness, chest pain, forgetfulness, or weight loss should never be ignored. Stay proactive. Eat well, stay active, and prioritize sleep. Your daily habits impact your long-term health. After recovering from her fall, Julie made a promise to herself. No more ignoring warning signs. She scheduled her next doctor's visit, started drinking more water, and even joined a balance class at the community center. She realized that staying independent didn't mean ignoring help. It meant taking control of her health before things got worse. Have you ever ignored a health issue that later became serious? What helped you take action? Let's talk in the comments. Julie sat in her quiet living room, flipping through old photo albums. She saw pictures of herself from years ago, laughing with friends, playing with her grandkids, dancing at family gatherings. But when was the last time she had laughed like that? Life had become routine. Wake up, do chores, watch the news, go to bed. Somewhere along the way, she'd stopped seeking out joy. One evening, her neighbour Linda invited her over for a movie night. Reluctantly, Julie agreed. They put on an old comedy she hadn't seen in years. Before she knew it, she was laughing, really laughing, the kind that made her stomach hurt, and tears well up in her eyes. For the first time in a long while, she felt lighter. Why laughter and fun matter as you age? Laughter reduces stress. It lowers cortisol levels, which helps improve mood and overall health. It strengthens relationships. People are drawn to those who bring joy. Laughter helps form deeper connections. It keeps you young, inside and out. Smiling and laughing improve circulation, boost immunity, and even help with memory. How to invite more joy into your life. Make time for fun. Watch a comedy, play games, or try something new. Surround yourself with people who make you laugh. Seek out positive, uplifting company. Find humor in everyday life. Don't take everything so seriously. Sometimes a small mistake or mishap is just a funny story waiting to be told. Reconnect with what made you happy. Did you love dancing, singing, telling jokes? Bring it back into your life. Julie left Linda's house that night feeling like a weight had been lifted. She realized that joy wasn't something that just happened. It was something she had to choose. The next morning, instead of turning on the news, she played her favorite music and danced around her kitchen. And for the first time in a long while, she felt alive. When was the last time you had a good laugh? Let's share some joy in the comments below. Julie never imagined how much small habits were shaping her life. But once she started making changes, letting go of negativity, staying open to new things and inviting joy back in, something incredible happened. She felt more connected. Her daughter called more often, her neighbors stopped by to chat, and even strangers responded to her warmth. She felt happier. The weight of grudges, regrets, and loneliness started lifting, replaced by moments of laughter, gratitude, and purpose. And surprisingly, she even felt younger at heart. Instead of resisting change, she embraced it. Instead of dwelling on the past, she focused on what she could control. Your turn to reflect and act. Which of these habits do you recognize in yourself or someone you know? What's one small change you can make today? Aging is inevitable, but how we age is up to us. If this video resonated with you, tap the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this.